If you've watched other videos that I've done, you may have seen one where I said my church does what we call a sportsman's banquet, and we fix wild game dishes and bring. So I'm actually doing two. If you want to check out my other video, please go back and find it. This one, we're going to make venison meatballs. We're going to throw them in the smoker for a little bit, and then we're going to come up with a new recipe. It's kind of like a mushroom gravy sauce that I'm going to do in the crock pot, simmer it for a while. I've never done this one, so I'm testing it out for you guys. So if you're interested, stick around as just a common man, answer some very common questions. So we're going to start out by making our own meatballs, and you can see I've got a pan here filled with some burger. This is all deer burger. It was a pretty big pack, so there's probably 2 or 3 pounds of burger in this pack. I said it at the beginning, take what we do, make it your own. You know, we'll test this and see how it works. So I've checked other recipes, I've looked at lots of different things to try to figure this out. We're going to give this a shot and see how it turns out. What I've done is I've taken, because this was a pretty big pack of burger, I've taken about 4 slices of bread, crumbled them up into pretty small pieces, and then I just poured enough milk in so that I could take a spoon and push it down, and you can see that it is all soaking up that milk. There's just a little bit of extra milk in there. It's been soaking for probably 3, 4, maybe 5 minutes, something like that, just enough to get the bread good and soaked. So we're going to take that, and we're going to dump it in with the burger. Again, because this is a very large pack of burger, if it was only a pound or so, and you can do this with hamburger as well, we're just using deer burger. But if it was only a pound or so, you may only want to take maybe 2 slices of bread. Because it's a bigger pack, we're going to use 2 eggs. Again, you may just have to figure out, depending on the size of your pack of burger, how much of all these different ingredients you need. Again, we're doing 2 eggs. You might not want 2 eggs in this. You may only want 1. So we've got bread soaked in milk. We've got 2 eggs. And then we are just going to add a little bit of seasoning here. We're going to use the salt, pepper, garlic mix that we have, which, as we've said before, that's just 3 parts salt, 2 parts pepper, and 1 part garlic powder. And we're going to take a nice heaping teaspoon and dump in with that. And then we're going to do a little bit of nutmeg. We're going to use a half a teaspoon of nutmeg. Again, that's just because the size of the dish that we're doing. And that's it. And now, for the fun part, you get to get your hands dirty. Get in here and just mix this up and get it all turned over to where everything is mixed in together. Once we get this done, we will start rolling out our meatballs and putting them on a pan, and we'll show you once we get those ready and what we're getting ready to do before we put them on the smoker. So as you can see, we've got our mixture all done. Again, just to recap, you know, the eggs along with the breadcrumbs and the milk, and then we put a little bit of salt, pepper, garlic, and some nutmeg in, and then you just want to form your meatballs now, and you can make them however big you want. I'm not going to go too big on these things. Just pull out what you need, roll them up a little bit, and I'm just putting them on a cookie sheet here lined with some wax paper. So that's all there is to this. You can make your meatballs however large you want them. I'm not going to add any extra seasoning to these. We've already put seasoning in with this. And with the smoke flavor, I don't want to do too much to overpower one thing over another and just be confused whenever we're eating it. So this is all you have to do. Get your meatballs put out on a cookie sheet. We're going to put these in the refrigerator tonight. We've got several things that we're going to be smoking tomorrow. So when we pick back up tomorrow, we'll show you what we do to get these meatballs smoked and then put in the crock pot to finish them off. Okay, as you can see, we've got our meatballs ready to put onto the smoker. They've been sitting in the refrigerator overnight after we got everything mixed up. Again, I think I mentioned I have other things going. There's other videos. Make sure you check those out as well. But we're going to get these things on the smoker fairly early today. I'm not going to keep them on really that long. I just want to get them to get some smoky flavor before I put them into the crock pot. Again, this is a new recipe. I've never tried it, so we'll see if it turns out or not. So maybe an hour or two with these on the smoker is all we're going to go for, and then we're going to get them onto the crock pot. So you can see we've got some venison roast already in here. For the meatballs, I'm just going to set them right on the rack. And there's really nothing to this, just getting everything lined up to where you've got a little bit of separation in between the meatballs, just so they can get the heat and the smoke all around. And hopefully I've got plenty of room here with where I position this other stuff. I've got one more thing that I'm going to put on later. Again, that's another video. Make sure you check it out as well. So we've got venison meatballs going on today that we're going to do in the crock pot. And then just so you know, if you want to check those other videos out, we've got venison roast that we're going to put into a smoked mac and cheese. And then I'm also doing tenderloin, venison deer tenderloin, just smoking it and see how it turns out with a different seasoning that I've never used before. So this is it. Get your meatballs on the smoker, get them to the taste that you want, and we'll check the temps on these as well, and we'll let you know how they look before we put these in the crock pot. Okay, so our meatballs have been on the smoker for almost 3 hours now. They've got a really good color to them. They're up to about 120 degrees. And I think that's pretty much all the smoke that I want to get on them. I'm going to go ahead and pull them off, and then we'll get them in, mix up everything that's going in the crock pot. And again, I've said it several times here, I've never done this before, so I'm hoping that they continue to cook to the temperature that I'm looking for within the next 4 hours or so. So we're going to take a look at them and see. So right now, we're just going to open the smoker up, and I'm just going to pull all of them off and drop them in a container here to get them all back inside, where I'm going to combine it with all the different ingredients in the crock pot. So that's all there is out here. We'll go ahead and get these off. We'll pick back up whenever we get back inside. Okay, we're inside. We're ready to put the meatballs in the crock pot. You can see we ended up with a pretty good container here. They've got a really good red, kind of smoky color to them. Again, they were on the smoker for about 3 hours, and it held pretty much between 200 and 215 degrees the entire time. So we're going to put these in the crock pot now. So I'm just going to go ahead and dump all of the meatballs into the crock pot. I'm using 2 cups of beef broth, a cup of sour cream, I'm going to add a tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce, and if anybody knows how to pronounce that the right way, please get a hold of me, because I've heard it called a little bit of everything. But anyway, a tablespoon of that, and then we are going to add a container of sliced mushrooms in with it, and that's it. We'll get this kind of mixed up, and I'm going to turn it on low, and I've got about 4.5 to 5 hours before I need to have this ready. So we're just going to keep our eye on it, see how long it actually does take, and we'll let you know whenever we get it finished up. Okay, so we've had our meatballs in the crock pot now for about 4.5 hours. If you saw there in the note that I put in, I did go back and add a little more beef broth, and I added some heavy whipping cream to it just to try to give it a little something. It wasn't quite as much broth in it as what I really wanted initially. So I've already scooped some out here to let it cool. We're going to take a bite of it and let you know how it turned out. And the meatballs are good. They're not overcooked. Too bad. Excuse me, I was trying to swallow there. I think I probably could have gone with some more seasonings in this. Again, this was the first time I've ever tried this. The sauce didn't thicken up quite like I wanted it to. So we might give this a shot again here one of these days. I'll play around with some seasonings. See about maybe doing the sauce a little bit better way. I was just looking for some kind of a thicker sauce. But that's why we're doing this. You know, again, as I've said, you know, my tagline is I'm just a common man. And so I'm just trying to figure things out just the same as you would. So this one maybe not quite as good as I was hoping for, but it gave me something I can work with, and hopefully you've picked something off of it too, and you can maybe come up with something that works a little bit better. If you do, I would love to hear from you. So again, hopefully you got something out of this. As just a common man, answer some very common questions.
Here you go. Thanks for watching. We hope you enjoyed and maybe even learned a little something. Don't forget to like our video and subscribe to our channel. And if you have a question about something, make sure to leave us a comment down below. We'll see if this common man can answer your very common question. Here you go.